All right. As promised last week when we went through the Pro Day Dare team of the season, we've been plotting, thinking, scheming, albeit very separately. So I'm intrigued to see how this comes out. It's top 14 team of the year time, Rob. Um, I feel like you're very much the playmaker on these things. How are we going to do it?
Well, last year we had the nominations from, and we already had the team of the season from the official account. Having seen the nominations so far, I think we can roundly ignore those as we did last year. And I'm happy to go through it 1 to 15, to be honest, because although I think we will agree on quite a lot, or we will have the same people, and I also think you might be able to guess quite a lot of my players, which I'm intrigued to see. I don't know if there is anyone that is a complete, like we did last week, that there is a complete, this guy has to be in. I guess the nearest I have is left wing and open side flanker. Of the two
I would
that
agree.
I have,
Yeah.
being,
I'd say left wing being probably the closest.
you reckon BLBRA is more in line than Jack Willis?
I mean, they're both up there, but they're the two for me. I'd say were furthest clear of the
Yeah.
rest of their respective packs.
Yeah. I think those two are the ones that are probably battling it out for player of the season, I think.
Tell me just before
They'll
we
find a way to give it to Antoine Dupont, but
before we go through though, tell me the flip side of that, which positions? Because for me, I think 8
8
and
12.
13, 12. Interesting.
I've
Okay,
got so many options at 12.
Okay, I'm intrigued to hear that because I
8,
struggled a little
8,
bit.
10,
I'd 8 and
12.
13 for me were the
13. Oh, I don't have it at 13. You could say tight head as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 13 is quite tough. I've also tried to go, I'd say my limit is if you're under 14 games, ideally you want to be more than 14 starts. So you've started more than half at least, well, in theory, that's more than half the league season. But obviously some teams have played, I think Joris Sagons has played 28 games. So, which is the maximum. But yeah, I think anyone under 14 games, and certainly anyone under 14 starts has an asterisk as well. So they've got to have done something pretty exceptional.
Okay. Might need to think all of mine will be there.
I'd like to think I've got most of the names covered in my checks in terms of what I've looked up so far, but we can double check. Lisa prop. Who do you think I've picked?
Beria.
No.
Okay.
Who have you picked?
Maybe a bit parochial. I've picked Mako.
So Mako, interesting. This is why we're disregarding the top 14
Mako doesn't
ones.
make the
but Thomas Makoro, who has started 7 games, albeit he has 9 tries, which is quite impressive.
Quite amazing.
But he has made the cut. But the guy that's made 18 starts in the top 14 at Loosehead for Van, Mako hasn't made the cut. I've gone Danny Priso.
Yeah.
But I'm more than happy to go Mako because I think he was brilliant.
My only reason for not my only reason, but that I think not picking Priso is maybe because he was so brilliant, particularly the first half of the year. It's the fact that just when it came back round to the business end, they had Jean-Baptiste Gros.
Yeah.
And that's because they have an embarrassment of riches with 2 outstanding loose heads.
Oh, Danny Brennan on the bench as well.
Yeah. I thought Mako at points was it was like the old Mako in a team that obviously struggled.
Plus scrummaging. Old Mako plus scrummaging.
Plus scrummaging. I'm happy with either.
Oh, let's go Mako. I think you make a valid point on Priso, which means Priso is the man that misses out 2 years in a row. He was on the cusp last year. I think we can do a bench this year, and I'll slot him in on the bench.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Hooker. This is hard. I would say more because there's a lack of an obvious candidate for me. But I have gone for a guy that played a lot in a very good pack and generally played pretty well, albeit his line out did get a bit wobbly. But in the top 14, who are you if your line out doesn't go a bit wobbly at sometimes? I've gone for Facundo Bosch from
Okay.
Bayonne.
Yeah, don't mind that. I struggled here a little bit as well, but I actually went back in the end, and I don't know where he'd be on that starters net number of starts. I actually went for Julian Marchand.
11 starts, 14 games.
Ooh. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy to discount him based on that loan. I think his form at the end of the season for Toulouse was outstanding.
He will undoubtedly. I would like if there is a way of betting on the official top 14 team of the season. I am almost certain that he will be the hooker that is chosen. Partly because
Yeah,
there's a disproportionate amount of French internationals in those selections, but the other people I considered were Bobigny. Again, Toulon were very good. That front row was impressive all season. Barlow played a load of games. Again, set piece was very good. Very, very tidy. And Foleti Kaituru, who scored, he was a medical joker, but he scored quite, I was quite impressed with him whenever he played. For a guy that came in to a shambolic team fairly early on, out of nowhere as a medical joker, I thought he was quite good at racing. So we've discounted
yeah.
Marchand, but I'm happy to consider
I
Barlow, I
th-
think, or Bobigny.
I love Gates and Barlow. I think Bosch was probably from an individual performance standpoint for me. I think
Load of
probably stands
turnovers.
out more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. So one Van, one Bayonne. This is a good start. Tight head. Who do you think I'm going for?
I think you're going for friend of the pod, Kieran Brooks.
I am, yeah. Who are
Yeah,
you?
it's
I think,
actually
are you going for Collier?
no. I've got Brooks here. It's for me. It's between Brooks and Collier, and
Yeah.
I think
Sinclair was close as well, but he just,
his sort of
the period
injuries
of injury
at the
meant that he,
end.
yeah,
Sinclair was brilliant, and I don't think it is just the English view. I think the three outstanding tight heads through the course of the top 14 season were those three.
yeah,
I think that is, I don't think that's hugely up for debate. The reason I had Brooks at the top was probably just because of individual impact on his
yeah,
team season. We spoke so much about how that Perpignan scrum, without it, they were going down,
yeah.
whether in the access match or before that.
I think they
Indeed,
would have
that
gone down
game,
before that without the
yeah,
scrum.
that
So
you
many of
know
those games, they like earned like bonus points by getting back into the game in the second half of the game or stuff like that.
yeah.
Like,
So Kieran Brooks for me,
yeah. Also, you got like they had that game they won at Poe didn't early on in the season. They won like 11-10, didn't they, or something against Poe at
yeah,
the Amy Giroux. Like that was basically all they scored. They won so many games just on penalties. I think you're right. Like just individual impact, and also been on the podcast this season. I think that's
yeah,
yeah.
gets
Worked for
you
Sam
in.
Davis, got him in the team. Second row, so again the top 14 official one has um, David Ribbons as a loose head lock, despite the fact that he started all of his games at sorry, he had 14 starts out of 20 in the 5 jersey. So yeah, I've got him in the tight head selection. So who do you think my locks were? I reckon you can
Did
guess
you
these.
did you go for Giard or
No,
Ribbons?
I went for
No.
Ribbons.
I'm not sure. I went for Ribbons and someone who often wears five as well, but does play at four, and Cyril Kaze.
Okay, I went for Arthur Aturia.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Hmm.
Ribbons has to be tight head lock, I think. He has to be. He was
Yeah,
a standout lock all season, captain of Toulon, and they were pretty. Their pack was so good, which means he is our first double player. I just think Cyril Cazo did have a very good season. I just think he's a bit, yeah, he's a bit meh. Aturia is just amazing at line out time. I just think he's everything a French loose head lock should be.
yeah, he's. I'm happy to have Aturia. I would disagree that Kaze's a bit meh. I think he is one of the best second rows in the league. I think he's an unbelievable player.
He can be our bench
Um,
second row because he can cover
okay,
both. He can come
okay.
loose and
Let's
tight.
let's go with that. I'm happy with that.
Um, yeah, the other, I guess, Petty was pretty good. Brennan was pretty good. Actually, Guillard. I mean, should
I
it
think
be
the reason
Guillard?
I think the reason I didn't have Guillard is just not in any way that he didn't have a great season for Lyon, but I think his big performances have been in a French jersey, and I just felt like a Cazo or kind of now you put it in front of Nituria in the top 14 season, maybe had a little bit more.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. I kind
he's
of considered Alan Oisi, Helen Garhu. There were loads of options. Thomas Sate again. Another guest, Alex Moon, had a pretty solid season, but I think Naturia
yeah
was probably grabbed a few more headlines in terms of the Bayonne secondaries.
yeah.
Um,
Let's go with that.
Blindside, I found tough.
Yeah, I think there's some decent candidates here. I went with somebody who wears seven but does play like a blind side. And I think given Willis is our kind of open side, whatever numbers on his back,
Yeah,
I think we're agreed on.
he
Another
did. He did
Bayonne,
start. He did start most of his games at 7. Willis did.
yeah,
So
but he's an open side flanker, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's not the profile of this guy, for instance, who's another Bayonne player. And actually, Bayonne's back row options were fabulous this year. Gone Baptiste Chuzanu.
Interesting. I don't know where he sits on the games stuff, if I'm honest. Let me
I
find
can
that.
tell you.
I went for Ibrahim Diallo at Racing.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
thought he was really good, like all season in the kind of, in a pretty crap team or at times and a team. I mean, he got one yellow and one red, which is, par for the course at Racing, really. But I think
Chuzanu 14 starts,
so. He passes the test.
8 off the bench, played a couple of games at lock as well.
Yeah,
Fits for me that kind of open side. I really like Diallo, but I do think, yeah, I hadn't really considered Diallo. Probably more on Racing's form as much as anything.
a player who I don't think is going to pass the games test, but I thought had a really good season when he did play. Paul Boudon, 12 starts, 17 games, 5 tries.
Mm. Maybe we come back to it.
So the one I saw in one of someone's team this season was Rodrigo Bruni, which I
Yeah,
think is fair. A player, I don't know if this is the most, but a player that played 1,800 minutes, which sounds like quite a lot. 23 games, or 23 starts, 24 games. Mathieu Babio,
yeah.
who I guess is
He
always
was
going to be there or thereabouts.
he was close. I felt, yeah, because he on the official selector, Babio's in there, Bruni's in there. Should we come back to it?
Yeah. Makalu,
Question. Makalu. Always, but
always.
I think some of his ropey stuff this year, maybe given the quality of, although he played some, well, the last back row position, number 8, he was excellent at 8, and I think
Yeah.
genuinely there are so many potential options that you'd be happy with at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Where
who
do
do you think I've gone for?
I think you would have gone for maybe like a Facundo Isa?
No, but he is on my list
Who did
of
you end up
options.
with?
I've ended up with Abraham Papali'i.
Oh, well, we're in unison. We're
There
agreed.
we go. There we go.
Yeah, he was amazing for Cast.
Yeah.
Just another level. Um, I think honourable mentions there. We mentioned it, but I think also I think Issa was
Yeah.
fantastic. Macaulay had some pretty good games.
Aldrit was all
Oh
right when he
God,
played. Aldrit was
Aldrit
pretty.
was this. God, what's his name? Had an amazing season. Callum Mahoney at Van
Yeah.
was awesome. Sowakula,
Yeah, he played like 5 games though, didn't he?
Havel Kerfner was
Habel
awesome
Kufner
when
was
he
the
played at 8.
Habel Kufner was the closest to. So he did play 6, but only 5 starts at 6. So we could squeeze him in at 6 if we wanted to. But It was between Habel-Kufner and Papali'i for
Happily,
me.
yeah. But I think, well, that's unanimous, right? Two
Yeah.
two from two on. So just a little recap. Oh, do we need to pick that six now?
Tisserand, that's another 6 option.
Oh, no, let's come back to
Nucci.
it.
Okay.
Oh God, Nucci was excellent, wasn't he?
I don't know how many games he played, but we could go Nucci.
He was injured for quite a bit.
Yeah. I feel like
Right,
there's probably a
there's someone we're
standout player.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
let's park it.
Nucci's not a bad
Move.
shout. 16 starts, 22 games, of which mixed bag of 6 and 7.
We didn't in that eights list mention Billy Vunipola
Oh yeah,
either.
sorry,
He was
yeah, yeah.
very,
Who was
very good.
my if I was doing a short list, it would have been, well, they give you 5, don't they? But Habel-Kufner, Papali'i, Issa, Vunipola for me, I think, and then probably Aldrit. But it's tricky, that one. Geelong's
Right,
pretty good as well. But yeah.
onto the backs.
Scrum half, tough again.
Very, very tough.
Although we were unanimous last year on the same
Who
player,
did
but
we have last? Who did we have last year?
Baptiste Kuyu, because he scored so many tries.
Oh, of course.
Who do you
Yeah,
think? Who do you think I've gone for this year?
Serran.
I have gone for Saran,
Yeah, so have I. I
despite
think
the
he had a.
disciplinary record.
I think he just at points he was essentially. I mean, he was playing extraordinary rugby in a team that was doing brilliantly. He also basically became like a sort of viral rugby player. It felt at
Yeah,
some points. It was, oh, look what Baptiste Serran has done again for Toulon. He was, I just in a league of amazing nines. I'm not saying he's not the best, but I just thought he was close to perfection at points and for
yeah.
big parts of the season.
He was
And the
he was
fact that
absolutely magical. Like
yeah,
like doing things that the guy that that will almost certainly be in the majority of top 14 teams this season, Maxime Lucu, was brilliant, but you don't see him do some of the stuff that Saran was doing this season. It was just freakish, wasn't it? Some of the stuff.
yeah,
And also, I
and it
think that's
was
recency bias to go for Lucu because Saran tailed off slightly, but earlier, like the first half of the season, he was unbelievable. Like
yeah playing a
genuinely
different
unbelievable in
game.
terms of I couldn't believe some of the stuff he was doing.
Big games as well, where he played the full 80 and they
Yeah.
kept Ben White, a quality of Ben White's player on the bench, I think speaks extraordinary volumes. So yeah, Serran, very happy with. So that's unanimous 8, 9, 10.
Are we going to be unanimous?
Have you gone for the main man MBE at 10?
I have, yeah.
Have you? Okay, I'm
Highest
not I'm
point
not
scorer, highest point scorer.
I'm not totally adverse to it, but I think I don't see how Mathieu Jalibert does not come in at
Oh,
10. I just don't see how he doesn't. You talk about doing ridiculous things. You talk about like talismanness. We were talking about him, the primary reason we felt Bordeaux might be able to overcome Toulouse in the final, or one of the primary reasons was him and him alone. I just think if he is, as I think we've said, played probably the best rugby of his career in the last 3 months. I and beyond that, I just don't. As much as I love Joe Simmons, and he was amazing for Poe, and he's so important for
the
Poe.
drop goal.
The drop goal,
The
but you
El
didn't want
Saminsko drop goal
you
alone.
didn't. That may be moments in front of no fans behind the post. I forgot about that. I just, I think it's got to be Jalabert, mate. Deep down.
No, I know, but damn, that was going to be my only Poe player.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, fair enough. 17 starts. That's enough, isn't it?
I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah. Sagons, as I said, played 28 games.
Sagons.
Played 28 games. Lafarge played a lot of minutes. Second highest point
Yeah,
scorer, 25 games. So he played an all bar one for um for Van. But I actually didn't think I think Lafarge goal kicking fine, but not much else. Simmons, I think, is just so key for Poe. Although Desperez
yeah.
when Simmons were injured, Desprez actually did play
Played
really well.
really well, didn't
11 we've got sorted.
they? Who did you talk me through your 12s then? Because you said you had quite a few options here.
Saili, Tuolangi, Tuasova, Mofana, Rohan Jansi van Rensburg,
Oh God, yeah.
Sanzel, Fabian Braubery.
Yeah, fair. Okay. So I think honourable mention to Jeremy Sansell, who became probably a bit of an unexpected key cog in that side.
Yeah.
I actually, out of those, now you give me that list, particularly Saidi, actually, I don't know if I'm right, but it's a bit recency biased. But I thought Tuasova, when they actually played him at 12, went back into full like freak show mode at Racing. But he he started a load of games, but I don't know if positional when he
Should we
started needs to be taken into account.
should we just go Manu? Just go parochial, go Manu.
I
I mean,
mean, he
Manu
was
was amazing.
excellent.
And I think it completely surprised me that he played as well as he did. Certainly first season in France as well. Um, I do think I did go for Saili because
Hmm.
he was so good in a team that was struggling and he made them competitive, like almost single-handedly. And again, just a bit of a surprise, like because Van were late to the market by virtue of kind of coming up, and he was
It
kind of
didn't.
like it was a name. It was
Yeah,
like that's a name that was once good, which
it
felt like a
didn't.
lot of
Yeah,
their signings were.
it didn't look like a. It didn't look like a transformational signing
No,
or the signing of a player that would, well, be in this conversation. I'm really happy for Saili to.
okay.
Oh my
Two
God, if
yellows,
he
one red. I feel like we need someone that's been
bit of
carded a
spite.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
13, as you said, is tough. Do you want to list the 13s you've got, given that you said that
Well,
was tricky?
it was really tricky, but in the end, it came down to two for me,
Yeah.
which is maybe a bit unfair on
Being
the
Mangala and
deportees.
Ganuku.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you've got Barassi, Deporter, Fiku, Gaeton with the other ones.
Gaiaton. Yeah.
Gaeton only
Correct.
scored a lot of tries in not many games. I think it was
Yeah.
11 tries in like 16 games or something, which is pretty
I
impressive.
had I had on my sort of long list as well, Jack Goodhue, more for his second
Yeah.
half of the
Yeah.
season. But
Yeah.
I think Mangala and Fainga'anuku for the duration were the outstanding 13s. And I came out on, I know he maybe just held off a tiny bit, but I came out on Mangala.
So Mangala only scored one try in 2025. So he scored 11 tries in the season. And one of them was like after the halfway mark, which is amazing. But I thought Fainga'anuku was amazing, absolutely amazing. But for the first half of the season, we were unanimous every week that Mangala is the best player in the top 14 right now. And on that basis, I think we have to go Mangala.
Yeah. Yeah, he was remarkable. You talk about kind of Serran looked like he was playing a different game. And I
Yeah.
think Mangala, and as we said a couple of weeks ago, maybe before Bayonne really clicked as a side as well. Like I mean, they clicked all year. They were unbeaten at home, but they scraped through some games, and I think he was out on his own
Yeah.
when they were looking like a kind of mid-table team, and they
Yeah.
finished up as with a home barrage,
Fine,
which I think
Ganuka on the
speaks to him.
bench.
But
He
yeah, happy with
can
that.
cover wing, centre, 8.
Very nice.
Right wing, I found tough.
This was tough.
I didn't think there were that many standout options, which is amazing in the wingers, to say that.
So the two it came down to for me were Gail Drahan
Yeah.
and the person I actually ended up on was Ange Capuozzo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Damian Penno.
No.
Capuozzo, 18 games, 13 starts, 9 tries. When he played, he was sensational. I went Drahan
Yeah.
because for a long part of the season, he was the highest try scorer. And arguably, I think there was one game where he should have had a hat trick within like 20 minutes. and it was inexplicably chalked off.
I'm
But you went
very happy to
Capuozzo.
go. Well, I think Capuozzo was bearing in mind, he was on the bench for Toulouse last year. He wasn't in their best 15. Suddenly became indispensable. Obviously, unlucky with injuries toward quite a serious injury, right? Towards
Yeah.
the end of the season. Thought he did some extraordinary things. I'm very happy for Gael Drayan, consistently excellent throughout the season.
Richard, there will be people shouting on their commute. Why Nicolo? Well, I can tell you, as
Oh,
a left wing, he started 13 games out of 14, 9 tries on the left wing. But I don't think that's enough games. And he's up
can
against
we
Louis
squeak him
Albiore.
onto our bench, a 5-3 bench?
We've already got 5-3 bench. We've got to have Fine Ganuka on the bench.
Fine Ganuki.
Fine Ganuka, Simmons, and
Okay.
a 9.
Can we do a 4-4 bench?
4-4. Fine Ganuka as the
Wine and
hybrid.
what? Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
No, because we've got so many back row. We've got so many 8
Yeah.
options.
Cool. So Gael Drayan, I think, is in, and that brings us to fullback.
Yes. I think there is a standout candidate here.
Is it Thomas Ramos?
No, although it probably should be.
That's who I had. I don't know if he passes our appearances
He
sniff
does.
test,
I think he has 14 starts from 14 games, but obviously Toulouse played 28 games, so he started exactly half of Toulouse's games. And I don't actually have his game stats here. I've gone for one of the other, and he was actually our fullback last year, Richard. I've gone for the other viral rugby player.
Viral rugby player, Rob. Who did we have last year? I feel like I'm getting mad.
He'll be a contender for one of the Rosbifs awards at the end of the season as well, being own try of the season.
Oh, Rapid Davitt.
Rapid Davitt.
Yeah, I can. I mean, it doesn't feel right not to have him in.
Yeah,
Go on.
Davitt
Sorry,
Moyashvili.
that's a proper brain fade.
Well, it's because Liam was shit, really. Ultimately, they were a bit crap. Did we decide on a 6?
I don't think we did.
I think Nucci, Tisserand, or Diallo. Who did you have?
Chizunu.
Chizunu.
Well, Chizunu largely played with 7 on his back, so let's rule him out
Yeah.
based on that alone for simplicity. Nucci. Nucci's amazing. Like,
I think
we love
Nucci
Lenny
made it
Nucci.
last year as well.
Yeah, he's amazing.
We like Nucci. And Montpellier are actually all right. I think they do. And he's not a criminal, which is a rare thing in Montpellier. So well done him for...
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Right. Well, that makes our team 1 to 15. Maka Vunipola at loose head, Facundo Bosch from Bayonne at hooker, the Catalan cow Kieran Brooks from Perpignan at tight head, Artur Aturia alongside David Ribbons in the second row from Bayonne and Toulon respectively, blindside flanker Lenny Nucci from Montpellier, standout player of the season Jack Willis at open side flanker, Cass Abraham Papali'i at 8, Baptiste Serran from Toulon at 9, alongside Mathieu Jalibert from Bordeaux, linking up with his Bordeaux teammate Louis Bielbiaré at left wing, inside centre Francis Saili from Vannes, outside centre Sorelli Mangala from Bayonne, Gael Drayan on the right wing of Toulon, and Rapid Davitt Niniashvili at fullback, which makes our bench. Who is your hooker? Let's go Barlow on the bench with Priso and Collier. Reserve Cyril Cazo as a reserve second rower. Gio Habel-Kufner. Who's a reserve? We haven't got reserve 9. Luku, Joe Simmons MBE, and Lester Ganuku. That's a damn good
Thomas
team.
Ramos can coach.
Thomas Ramos can yob on the sideline. I think that's a good balance of like the teams as well. I think we've got that
Yeah.
right.
It
Yeah.
feels okay.
No,
Rob,
but
I'm
oh no,
gonna
there
need
is a player
to
there. Joe Simmons on the bench. We
I'm gonna
snuck it
need
in.
to leave you
Okay.
to do the final farewells, but it's been an enjoyable morning.
Thank you, Archangel Richard, for your help in this. People, I'll put this up on YouTube, and people have got no idea. Actually, no, they can see it on YouTube. They can see you glowing like an archangel. But thank you, Richard. I enjoyed that, and I cannot wait for people to come at me, all one commenter or whoever. But yeah, please comment and please share it wherever you can, and let's get a debate going on this. But we are right. I'd like to make that clear. Enjoy your day of hard yakka, Richard. I'll let you go.
Thank you, mate. Au revoir, folks.